This tutorial will be about how to create arcs in AutoCAD. If you open the student shape worksheet drawing provided to you in your box.com account, go to the arc portion of the drawing. It's in the top portions. We'll start in the top left right here where it says arc 3-point. If we go up to the arc command, which is in the draw menu, and select 3-point, we can select point 1, point 2, point 3. But before we do that, we want to go into our object snap settings. We want to clear everything, and we want to use the intersection snap tool. So click OK on that. We'll go back to the 3-point arc. We'll go 1, 2, 3. See that? But before you do that, make sure you select the green. I guess it was selected already, so we're okay. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. Space bar will bring me back into the same command because this is what AutoCAD defaults to. Okay, so that's the 3-point arc. Then we'll go to the arc start, center, end. Arc start, center, end. So it asks us down here, specify start. That's our S. Then it says specify center point. That's our C. Then it says specify end point. That's one of the things we always have to make sure of when we're using AutoCAD. You always need to read the command prompt because AutoCAD is always asking you questions based on things you've selected or things you've typed. I can hit the space bar to do this again because AutoCAD defaults to 3-point. So I have to go back into start, center, end. So specify start point, specify center point, specify end point. Alright, now we'll go over to start, center, angle. Select start, center, angle. It says specify start point. That's our S. Specify the center point. That's our C. And then it says specify angle. It wants to know how far along from 0 do you want it to travel. We're going to put 45 because that's what it tells us to do. Excuse me. I can't hit the space bar to go back in because AutoCAD defaults to 3 points. So I'll go back to the start, center, angle. Start, center, and this time it wants a negative 0.35 or negative 3.5. And there it is. Excuse me, we have that little tiny angle there. I'll go back to my start, center, angle. Start, center, and then an angle of 65. There it is. Go back to my start, center, angle. Start, center, and then an angle of negative 40. And there we go. Then we'll do start, center, length. Start, center, length. Wants to know the start point, wants to know the center point, and then it wants to know the length. It's 1.8. Go back to it. Start, center, length. Start, center, and then length is negative 1.8. So the negative 1.8 does all but the 1.8 portion that's not showing there. The positive number gave you a 1.8 line. Now we'll go start, end, angle. Start, end, angle. So we go start, then it asks us specify the end point, and then it wants to know the angle. And you see if I move my mouse it changes the angle, but it wants to know 55. Go back to the same tool, start, end, angle, start, end. Now it wants a negative 55. Then the last one down here, we're going to do start, end, direction. Start, end, direction. So we go start, then it asks the end point, then it wants to know the direction. We're going to go 60. Same command again, start, end, direction. Ask the start point, it asks the end point, then we'll put a negative 30. Go back to the other end. arc option, start, end, radius. So we'll go start, end, radius. It asks you the start point, it asks you the end point, and now it wants to know the radius, 2. Same command, start, end, radius, start, end, -2. Then we have arc, center, start, end. Center, start, end. So it wants to know the center point, it wants to know the start point, and it wants to know the end point. So we just manually put our points in, which means you'd have to know where those are at before you started drawing it. Wants to know the center point, wants to know the start point, wants to know the end point. Next one, start or center, start, angle. So we go center, start, angle. Wants to know the center, wants to know the start, and it wants to know the angle. Angle is 75. Same command again, center, start, angle. It wants to know the center, it wants to know the start, and then you put an angle of -60. Then we go to the arc option, center, start, length. Center, start, length. It asks you for the center, it asks you for the start, and then it wants to know the length. We're going to put in a 3. Go back to the same command, center, start, length. It wants to know the center, it wants to know the start, and it wants to know the length. And this one, we're just going to pick the point. And that is all of the arc options in AutoCAD.